I'm going to go
Thank
to
you.
KFA. Kemi Adeleke, please, could you share your own perspective for us, please?
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mrs. Z, for having me on this webinar this evening. I'm so excited to be here. I've been home for about 5.5 weeks. I actually stopped working when I stopped working on the 23rd of March. So it's been a peaceful period for me. For the first 2 weeks, I was sleeping. I was waking up, sleeping, and eating. And I didn't want to get fat, so I started taking walks every day. And just about 2 weeks ago, it dawned on me that, oh my goodness, Kemi, this is a reality. When they extended the lockdown by another 2 weeks, I said to myself, okay, we need to go back to the drawing board. What can we do? KFA, what do? We do rentals. So basically your chairs, your tables, we're directly impacted with this lockdown, with this coronavirus. We're directly impacted because without the we can't have events. The government has said you can't have events more than 20 people as at the time before the lockdown. We don't even know the situation as it is right now. For me, I have a huge staff strength because if as the business owner, you're looking at your business, what's the first thing that's going to come to you? Your staff. They're the critical aspect of the business. I have close to 100 people who are full-time. They're not even part-time. I can't even ask them to stop work. It's been a tussle with my mind. I had a meeting with them on the 21st of March. I had a general meeting with all my staff. And during that meeting, I told them that was going to be the last day of work, but that I would pay them in full for the month of March, which I did. I didn't make sales. I probably made maybe 10% of my monthly revenue, but I went ahead to pay my staff in full. Then I told them that for the month of April, if we look at what happens in the industry, if we're asked to come back to work, if we work, then we would pay. But if we don't do any work, there's no source of income, there's no way I can pay. But the truth of the matter is, I look at myself, how I was asking, how will these people survive? I can't pay something. I have 97 people on my payroll. That is a lot. So for me, I have to even use my own personal funds at the end of this month to pay my staff. I have to pay them something, even if I'm not going to pay, I can't afford to pay 50% because I have to look at the month of May. May is there as well. If we're not even, because I'm sure there's no way they're going to ask us to go back and start having events. It's not going to be possible. We do big events. So there's no way, but at the same time, I need to give them something. So that for the month of May, now I don't even know what I'm going to do, but for the month of April, I will definitely give my staff something. I'm not going to ask them to leave because that's going to cause another emotional trauma on its own. And I don't want that, because these are people, trust me, without them, I can't do this work.
Yeah,
I have been doing this work day and night. We're everywhere day and night. So they are very paramount to the business, the success of the organization. So, the staff, in terms of my clients, we've been able to, everybody knows what is going on in the world. So what we've been doing is just communicating. We're calling them, just to say, just to check up on them. It's mainly their state of mind, really, because you can't even talk about any events. It's just the state of mind to ensure that everybody is fine at this point in time. So that's what I've been going through since this lockdown happened. And I've been thinking, I already have some solutions to post-event. What are the opportunities? Because there are definitely opportunities. I've been thinking, and the great opportunities that we're going to share further on in the webinar.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Kemi. It is emotional for many employers. It is, as you can say, what do? You have 100 people who their livelihood depends on you. So for everybody, I think, that is a real leader, a true boss. That is the most significant effect of this pandemic. How do I let my people down? So we all realize the challenges. And I remember, Kemi, remember the day you called me when it was still new, and you were saying there was this client who said, he's going on with his events. How? And I said, you can't. You're breaking the law. There's nothing we can do. Do you think we don't want your money? But we can't do it. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Actually, I had to refund them.
Yes. So we have that issue as well, So, okay, so now I'm going to go on to Funke. So Funke, please share with us, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge when we go back? Do we know whether it's 3 months' time, 6 months' time? Do we even know if it's going to be a year's time? Because, honestly, what people in the know have said is that until there really is a vaccine, social distancing has come to stay. that until there is a vaccine or a cure, so this could be a very long time. So what do you want to say to the people in the events business? How do they overcome these challenges that they will face when we go back? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Auntie Andy. And so I think that the biggest challenge for, I would say, the event industry is really people can't gather the same way they would have. So the numbers, people can't just gather. We don't even know if people can, even if 20 people can even gather. We don't even know if 50 people will be fine, because we don't know who has the virus. We don't know who tested negative. We don't know who tested positive. We don't know. So I think that the biggest challenge is, first of all, the customer's needs is definitely changing for at least till the end of the year. So the needs are changing. But people will still want to have events. How can they have events with what is going on? So I think that's one of the greatest challenges. The greatest challenge is the numbers, of course, are going to reduce. People are going to be scared, because even if you have an event, as a guest, if I'm coming for the event, how do I know that the people at the event, are negative? So there's a lot of, when it comes to hygiene, health, safety, people are not going to want to do events the same way. So clients' needs are definitely changing. Customers' needs are changing. We are very in the core of social and weddings, and of course weddings. People will still want to marry. I know that, because people will say, I don't want to wait. It's 2020. I already declared that my wedding is in 2020. I'm going to marry. So how can we, ensure that they still get married? I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Biggest challenge is gatherings cannot be the same way. We're not even sure that there will be gathering at all. I think another challenge that I see that, is very big, and I think Isaiah kind of touched on it a lot. Everybody has talked about is our team. How can we even ensure that our team is productive at this time? Because nobody's working. We all have events till next year. We all have events that we've postponed. How can our team and ourselves actually work? How can we ensure performance management with our team? That, we're not sure that our team, we don't know whether all of them are just sleeping, waking up. But the challenge is also that even if you want to do remote working from home, a lot of people that work with us don't have the best environment for it. There's no light, there's no data, there's no network, all kinds of things. You're calling people will tell you the generator, I'm about to put on the generator, there was no light, I can't come on, I can't do the video. You're trying to call people. To me, managing, yes, the health of them, fantastic, we're sending them messages, we're calling them, but the real thing is that how are we going to also manage them effectively? Because if people are hungry, or people are, they don't have the infrastructure to be able to work remotely, how are we going to deal with that? And then, of course, in the issue of even paying salaries, this is the time that we need to look at, of course, our cash flow. Everybody has said it. Look at even things. Have we even invested money that we can take and use to, pay the business? It's actually very, I would say, very tough, and I think everybody has kind of almost said the same thing. So I'll go into the opportunity. So let me not say too much.
Thank you very much, Funke. You touched some very key things that, Fisaya had said it, customer needs are going to change, and you've said it. How do we provide solutions? Particularly, you were so right, people who want to get married. You shared a story with me of a bride who you had already started setting up for the wedding when that government thing came in. They had already started decorating the hall. I mean, can you imagine the devastation for that kind of person? And so for all the people who had planned 2020 is my year, it was such a funky, special year, 2020. So many people had just planned that. So how do you provide succor to them? How do you still help them make it happen? It's a great challenge, but this is where our creativity and resourcefulness as event planners will come in. And you said something very important too. How do we ensure our teams are productive? Especially because of the kind of challenges they may have where they're all working remotely from. You know, is this remote working? Is it really sustainable? Because a lot of people are saying that even when we go back to work, it still has to be remote. So there are lots of things that we really do have to face. I'm happy to say we've got about 300 people online right now. And I'd just like to encourage you to begin to put your questions in the Q&A box, so that when we're ready, we'll be able to take as many of them as we can. So I'm going to go to Morenica now to still answer that question from the perspective of somebody in the food and the food business, the catering business. Morenica, what's the biggest challenge that you think the catering business is going to have post-COVID?
Good evening, everybody. Nice to be here. And just like all of you have mentioned so far, we're going to have issues. It's not going to be normal anymore. I mean, it's not going to be as usual anymore. We obviously have challenges post-COVID. I'm not even talking about the situation now. I'm talking about post-COVID. What are we going to do? There are a lot of challenges. How are we going to conform to scaling? Scaling is one of our issues because, you know, we're used to large parties. Even from the middle class to the lower class to the upper class, we are all used to large parties. So how are we going to conform to smaller gatherings? That's a big challenge to us. Most of us have modeled our businesses to that extent. So what are we going to do? I mean, are we going to lay off? Just like somebody has said, we can't afford to lay off now. And Funke made a mention of something that didn't occur to me, or that I didn't pay attention to. You know, did we allow our businesses to invest in other things for this kind of period? Mm-hmm. We have not done that. I'm sure most of us have not done that. So right now, it's becoming a burden on us to carry on these people, but we still need them because we're still going to go back with strategies that will keep us, at least sustain us, till we go back to our normal situation. Because we all know that our culture, we like to celebrate. We can't take that out of us. We like to celebrate. Whatever it is, we still want to celebrate. You can't imagine your aged parents, for instance, they pass on and you just go to the cemetery and just put them in there and go home. No, you still want to celebrate. So how are we going to learn to conform ourselves to smaller gatherings? That's one of my challenges. Then another thing that is my major challenge right now is the procurement of this food stuff. Even right now, all of us are still at risk because your cooks, your house helps, you yourself, you still go to the market. You don't know who is contaminated. You don't know who has this or that, but we're still taking that risk. So how are we going to, convince our clients that we are, so to say, safe to bring this up? I mean, to be able to offer them this kind of catering service, you know? Then another thing, the challenge I think we will have is in my industry,